Come gather round the campfire and hear our ghostly tales of chilling terrors, darkest woes, and anything that goes bump in the night. So cuddle up with your best friend or dare it alone. The darkness is closing in and spirits are calling your name. This is Fireside Phantoms.
Guess what I'm going to talk to you about today? Crop circles.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Crop circles. And here's the thing. I didn't really know that much about crop circles before I started to research them. But wow, did I find out some very interesting information. And if you guys are listening, make sure you listen all the way to the end, because that's when the most interesting crop circle I talk about, because it is kind of crazy. Strap in, because we're going to go on a bumpy ride through the English countryside for the most part. But there are crop circles found all over the world. We've had crop circles here. They've been everywhere. They've been showing up all over the globe, but primarily they like to show up in Wiltshire, England.
Wiltshire,
England, and southwest England. That is where they typically appear. They are beautiful and sometimes very intricate designs that show up seemingly out of nowhere in crop fields like wheat and corn and grass and canola. And they usually show up during growing season, which of course is April through August. That's when those crops are sprouting up.
That makes sense.
Yeah, getting ready for harvest. So that's when crop circle season is. They actually even have crop circle tours, which I'm bound and determined to do now.
Yes, that would be really fun.
Wouldn't that be fun? I guess that you can go to England during these months and then they'll take you out to the crop circles, and I would love to do that.
There's so many fun things to do in England because we have to do the Screaming Skulls too and find all the Screaming Skulls.
I want to take a trip. I want to go to England and see the
great.
crop circles. I want to go see the Highgate Cemetery. I want to go to Scotland and see the Screaming Skulls in England. Right?
Yeah.
Go to Scotland and see the Greyfriars Kirkyard and the Glamis Castle. That's a trip we really need to take.
We'll do it. We'll get there someday.
Yeah, so these crop circles are actually pretty close to some sacred sites like Stonehenge.
Ooh.
And another one called Avebury, which is similar to Stonehenge.
Isn't a little smaller?
It's smaller.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but they're both very close to Wiltshire, which is where a lot of these crop circles appear. Though there are a variety of explanations for how and why they form, most people have chalked it up to hoaxes created by people, or perhaps as some kind of eccentric weather phenomenon in which the circles are attached to ley lines and create a rare energetic reaction that flattens the crops down into specific patterns. However, a lot of people would like to believe they were created by UFOs and are actually some form of communication to us from alien beings. What do you think, Carol?
I like the alien communication.
I do too. It's sexy.
It's super sexy.
It is. Like that, you sent me an image recently of a gray alien with the six-pack.
That's right.
That's what I'm picturing right now. As a gray alien with a six-pack in his UFO vehicle making crop circles in England.
There you go.
Sexy hot. It is believed that sightings of crop circles have gone back as far as 1678.
Really?
That far back? There was a wood cutting discovered that showed an illustration of a devil-like figure making a circle in a field of oats. It is known as the mowing devil. The legend of the mowing devil derived from an incident in which a farmer and his farm worker had a dispute over money. The farmer was willing to pay the farm worker to cut the farmer's oats. The farmer allegedly said that he, quote, would rather pay the devil himself to cut his oats than pay the farm worker what he wanted paid. The next morning when the farmer awoke, he found circles cut all throughout his crops. The townspeople believed that the devil had complied with what the farmer had said and cut his oats for him. So that was kind of the first on record crop circle formations that we know about. A few other possible crop circle sightings were reported from that time, including one published in the journal Nature in 1880 that said, quote, the storms about this part of Surrey have been lately local and violent, and the effects produced in some instances curious. I could not trace locally any circumstances accounting for the peculiar forms of the patches in the field, nor indicating whether it was wind or rain or both combined which caused them, beyond the general evidence everywhere of heavy rainfall. So the next known reporting of a crop circle was in 1966 when a farmer in Australia claimed he saw a UFO ascend from a swamp and fly off, leaving behind a circular shape in the grass that he attributed to being made by the spaceship.
Well, yeah, you would think
You
if
would
saw
definitely
a craft.
connect those dots. Yeah. After this occurrence, crop circles started to become more of a common occurrence and really started to pop up in various places, but especially in England. It made people from around the world wonder what was creating these circles and if they were actually communications from aliens and UFOs.
And why England?
Well, I guess the sense is that they're close to Stonehenge, perhaps. And
ancient sites that are familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've been found all over the world, though, in close to various other sites. So that could be part of it. However, the whole alien theory would come to pass when two men, Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley, came forward and admitted to making the crop circles with planks and ropes. They said that after seeing the report on them in Australia, they wanted to create them in England to make the UFO community believe that UFOs had landed in their fields. And from that point forward, most people believe that crop circles are just human-made in the middle of the night when no one can see them being produced. And scientists do believe that the majority of them are man-made. And to look at them, I would say it's pretty obvious that many of them are. Like, for instance, the one of Pac-Man in the wheat chasing the ghosts. That's clearly a man-made crop circle.
I think so.
I think so, too. However, there is a small percentage of them, about 20%, that cannot be explained in this fashion. So that is what we will be focusing on for the rest of the story. That's the foundation of crop circles. In 1991, a biophysicist named William C. Levingood conducted a 10-plus year study in which he studied the stalks of the crop circles. He found that some of these crop circles emitted an electromagnetic and microwave radiation in high doses. He theorized that this radiation made the stalks soften and bend without breaking and without killing the crops, as were usually found in the man-made crop circles. Scientists determined that these types of crop circles could not be man-made because we simply do not have any kind of technology or ability that could affect the crops in this manner.
Right.
So there's no way to get them to soften and bend like that without breaking. And if you're a man making these crops, you're breaking the crops as you make the circles. This is how they determine what crop circles are man-made and which ones they can't really tell.
Explain.
Exactly.
Okay.
There was another 10-year study performed by the BLT group in Dartmouth College. This study also focused on the condition of the crops within the circles. They took samples from over 250 crop circles throughout Europe, Canada, and the U.S. They too found evidence of the electromagnetic radiation, and that changes the molecular structure of the plants themselves. They believe that the plants are heated from 6,000 to 8,000 degrees Celsius, which causes the plants to deform but not burn. They found that the nodes inside the plant increased by up to 172%. The seeds inside the plants actually shrunk, and tiny iron spheres charged with magnetism formed on the plants. They concluded that essentially the heat applied to the stalks was stretching the stalks, allowing them to extend and to bend. The evidence that they collected allowed BLT and Dartmouth College to conclude that the circles were being made by technology that we simply do not have. Real crop circles also have other characteristics that make them unique. For example, electronics tend not to work within crop circles. People have various reactions to walking into a circle where they may feel ill and lightheaded to actually sometimes they'll feel chronic pain disappear and experience healing within the circles.
Oh,
that
that's
last a
kinda
couple
cool.
days. Yeah. Crop circles pretty much always form at night with no light source, which would be very difficult for people to pull off. However, there have been ones that have formed during the day, yet no one has ever caught them making said circles in the daylight. Unless they're filming it or what have you. Looking at the way the plants are bent is the other key way, of course, that they know it's not a man-made circle because the man-made circles will break and destroy the plants instead of simply bending them over. So those are the ways they can tell if a crop circle is a real crop circle, if you will. So it was widely believed that there have been no witnesses to the making of a real crop circle. That was until the Oliver Castle crop circle in Wiltshire, England on August 11th, 1996. A 19-year-old man named John Whaley went to Wiltshire to go looking for crop circles. He was asking around for people to join him out in the fields, but he didn't find any takers. So he went out on his own.
That sounds like a really bad Tinder date.
Right? Hey, you going to go and look at some crop circles with me?
I'm safe, I promise.
Right. So he went out on his own and he pitched a tent by a field, and after darkness fell, he crawled in and he went to sleep. The next morning, he heard a noise, so he unzipped his tent and looked outside, and he saw several white orbs flying over the field where he was staked. So he grabbed his camcorder.
Wow.
Yeah, he grabbed his camcorder and he started to record. And what he captured is pretty amazing.
Really scary music.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Ooh.
You see the orbs flying around. There's two bright white orbs, and then right below them, a crop circle forms. They don't even touch the field. They just zip around in a circle.
Holy cow.
And the crop circle forms in about 3 seconds, the whole thing.
I cannot believe this guy has this on film.
He has it on film.
That is amazing.
I found this really cool documentary called Crop Circle Realities, and that's where I saw this footage. And they explain that it's kind of grainy looking because it's been copied so many times. But they took it to experts who looked at the footage, and they were like, there's a lot of artifacts and things you can find in video footage that shows it's a fake because of, visual effects and things that they
Right.
put in there. They're like, this does not have that. This is a legit video.
That is absolute proof. I'm totally convinced.
Right?
You guys have to watch this video. This is amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
I mean,
I'll obviously link it in our show notes, but yeah, it's amazing.
and there's two cute little floating balls, and they're like
they're little balls floating
traveling
around.
together around, and then you see these designs.
These designs just pop up out of thin air.
That's remarkable.
It's pretty amazing to see. But if it's correct, this theory that crop circles, the ones that are not man-made, are made with some kind of a heat or radiation.
Yeah.
Obviously, these orbs are emitting that down, and that's what's forming the circles, but they form them in perfect geometric shapes. Like mathematically, when they look at them, they're perfectly the correct geometric shape, size, and if you're into math, you would know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I'm not, so I don't really know. But scientists are always like, wow, these are perfect. They're perfect shapes. Yeah.
Right. Perfect angles.
Perfect angles.
Or
So-
circles. Perfect circles.
Perfect circles, yes. But some of them are not circles, but they have a variety of different things. But anyway,
That is so amazing.
so amazing. You guys got to check out the Crop Circle Realities documentary. It's on Google Play, and I think it's on iTunes. It just came out in 2021, so it's very recent. And they go through and they talk about what I just said, how they determine what a fake is from a real crop circle. They believe that these crop circles are messages for humankind from somewhere else. So the crop circles are mathematical in nature. Sometimes they're astronomical, and sometimes they come in the form of binary code, which they're not going to be speaking to us in English. They're going to be speaking to us in mathematics or universal
like
languages.
a universal language.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So that's what they're saying that these crop circles are showing. So I'm going to just talk about a few of them, and I'll show you some photos, and then we'll end with the one that I think is the most interesting and compelling based off of the information that we have. So in November of 1974, scientists Carl Sagan and Frank Drake sent out a message to the Hercules constellation from the giant Arecibo radio telescope in Puerto Rico. They sent an image of information about us, our numeric system, the atoms of life, our DNA, chemistry and genome, our body shape, height, our population, our solar
Oh,
system.
yes. I remember this.
Yep. Our transmission antenna diameter and frequency. I guess if they wanted to write back, I'm not really sure, but they put our basic information out into the universe. If you were to take the binary code it was sent into, it would create a sort of binary looking image. And that's what they sent out into the deep space universe. And they targeted this Hercules constellation 27 years later, in 2001, a crop circle appeared showing the answer to the message that Sagan and Drake had sent out.
I remember that. That was chilling. Just to have it come back and identically reproduce, only from their perspective.
Exactly.
What we sent.
Exactly. The crop circle shows an exact replica of the binary image, but instead of the human shape in our image, it has an alien shape. And it also shows a different solar system than where we live. So they're basically saying, here's what we look like. Here's our solar system. However, a lot of people say that this is not a legit communication from aliens.
Oh, no. Intelligent life forms wouldn't give away their location to an unknown.
Well, they probably know we have no way of getting there, so it's probably fine. It's like,
but someday we will, and we'll hunt them down.
They're doxing themselves, but that's, I know that you've seen that before, but that's the crop circle. And it's pretty good, really. It looks like an Atari video game to me.
Yeah, it really does.
Like
it kind of looks like something we could have done, but...
Yeah, it does. So there you go.
That's a bummer. I want it to be true.
I know, I do too, but it doesn't sound like it. I don't know. It sounds like it's probably not. But they do talk about it in that documentary as if it were true. But,
as if it were. Okay.
But I don't know. On August 15th, near Winchester, England, a very peculiar crop circle appeared. It was the face of an alien holding a disc that scientists believe was made of binary code information. When they translated the information into language, it said, quote, "Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. There is good out there. We oppose deceivers. Conduit closing." I don't know if I buy that this is not a man-made one.
I am thinking the message is what kind of throws me, because if you're going to introduce yourself that way, to me it sounds like
heavy-handed for an alien.
It's a little too like.
And why would you put a alien head like that? Looks like something people would have been like, "Oh, I know.
That's an alien without any sleep. He's got really dark circles under his eyes."
He sure does. Or at least or it's a cheekbone. I don't know.
Oh, it might be a cheekbone.
But I don't know about that one. That feels a little too heavy-handed to me.
Just, what they said was kind of, the conduit is closing. It's so cheesy.
It's kind of cheesy, and it doesn't seem to me like it's, I don't know. It feels like something a person would do to me.
Yeah. Or.
Yeah. But they're saying on the documentary that it's a legit one. I don't know.
According to alien enthusiasts, there are many different species of aliens out there. So we might have some cheesy aliens that just like to.
Maybe we do have some cheesy aliens.
Write Hallmark cards for people or whatever. But
that's really sweet.
We'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Phone home ET. So in 2008, there was a high concentration of crop circles that started to appear in the crops of England. So they got a whole bunch that year. On June 1st, 2008, at Barbury Castle, a crop circle was found. It is a round shape, but it represents the number that is pi. This one is particularly cool, I think, because each round line is a specific length until you get to the notch in the line. And then you start to measure the next line. When you get out to the final number, it comes out equal to pi to the 10th decimal. So it's pretty cool. I'll show you what that one looks like. So they start measuring in the center. And so then they measure each line and they get to a notch and then they start over again. So I think this would be the 3. That's the decimal. And then the 1 and then the 4 and then it keeps going until they get to the 10th decimal out. Right?
That's fascinating.
Isn't that cool? That to me says alien. Right?
Yeah.
That feels more like something an alien might do.
That does.
It's more sophisticated. It's more like,
it's cleaner lines, Holly. Yeah, cleaner lines.
We made you a pie and this is what it looks like.
Because they would want to stoop to our intelligence. Try and dumb it down for us. They wouldn't want to make it too complicated.
Right. Yeah. So that one I kind of am leaning a little bit more towards alien, right? Okay. And don't you worry, you guys. We'll put all these images up.
Yeah,
so you
and
can
look at how
see.
green the grass is.
I know,
Holy
right?
cow.
It's really pretty.
Spend some watering bills there.
For sure. On June 10th, 2008, in Northdown, England, another circle showed total solar eclipses in the back of a turtle, which has the magic square of numbers that add up to 15. I don't know anything about magic squares or numbers.
I
but
love magic squares.
perfect. Well, then what does this one mean?
Well, there's an old legend that says a turtle carried that we basically are living on a turtle. So there's a very
Really?
ancient legend that says the turtle is our universe.
So this is a
And
crop circle confirming that.
Confirming that. So that's the turtle. The circle on the turtle is Earth. And the little shells surrounding it are
This is Earth.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I think it means. And see the little head and the little feet. I had it the other way, but yeah,
Oh.
I like
Oh,
the
okay.
bigger head and the smaller tail
Yeah.
personally. Yeah, so that's my interpretation of it. But as far as mathematical squares,
I don't know much about sacred geometry, but I know
Yeah.
a lot of sacred geometry are found within crop circles, which I think is really interesting. And now I want to study sacred geometry.
yeah,
I wish
and
I had paid attention in school.
magic squares are fascinating because you can do so much with them. And I used to make magic squares from people's birthdays.
Oh.
I'll have to make one for you.
Yeah.
And I would think of it as like a lucky mantra, and you would
Oh,
carry it
cool.
around, and because
love
numbers
that.
have vibrations.
Yeah, they
and,
do. They do.
So anyway,
So then on June 15th, 2008, another circle appeared in Wiltshire showing our own solar system, showing each planet and the orbit path it takes with the sun in the middle.
that's really cool.
Yeah. See, to me, again, I think that would be an alien thing. Sure. Mm-hmm. We're communicating to you that we've seen you, we recognize you, and we're reflecting back to you your own information to confirm that we're an intelligent species, just wanting to say, hi, we're your neighbors next door. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if over time, if the crop patterns are getting more complex or less complex. Like each time we don't get the message, are they getting more simple or are they getting more advanced, or it's just so random you don't
I don't know. I think they're pretty random.
Yeah.
On July 27th, 2008, another crop circle appeared in Ashbury Smithy that looked like a mandala that scientists believe represents calm and inner peace.
That's very alien-like.
That looks very alien-like, I think, too. There's a square and a cross, and it almost looks like circles in a way. Like that looks like a circle, So yeah, that one's pretty cool. Another one on August 1st, 2008 was found in Watchfield Wind Farm and is 3 circles in the shape of round blades, looking very much like an old-fashioned windmill that happened to be positioned next to a new propeller-type wind turbine. They believe the message is that using environmental energy is encouraged.
That middle one almost looks like a water wheel.
Yeah. That makes me think of the old-fashioned, windmills.
Yeah, it does. The old-fashioned one.
But I like that it's next to the new one.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's like, we get what you're doing here.
Right. We get it. And yet another circle was found on August 14th, 2008 in Bedfordshire, in which the image of the Pentagon building is seen.
Oh, that's a little ominous.
Yep, there it is. Looks like the Pentagon, right?
Yeah. Little hexagram there.
Yep. Okay, and then we have another one in 2018. Another crop circle formed overnight at Dorset, England, next to a large antenna. The crop circle was shaped much like an antenna with 4-quarter moon shapes at the end of diagonal poles and a cross-like structure in the middle. It is believed that this was a message to us about how we can best communicate with them through this shape. Not the
Wonder
best photo of it.
Why all the moons, crescent moons?
But they look like kind of like antennas, though, don't they? I think that's how they try to interpret it.
Yeah.
And it's next to a big antenna, too. So that's another reason why they thought a lot of crop circles might be emulating what's in the environment already. Mm-hmm. Another shape that formed on June 10th, 2018 was of a triskel. I don't know if that's correct, that I'm saying it correctly. That was used by the Celts and was used for healing for body, mind, and soul. 2 more circles accompanied this shape with lines connecting the 3 circles with points to the perfect number of 3. As the narrator pointed out, when you add 3 to itself, you get the number 6, which is an imperfect number. But when you add 3 again, you are back to 9, which is the number of the divine. So I think that's interesting because the 3 is the Holy Trinity, right? 6 is the son of Satan, 666. And then you've got 9, which is the number of the divine. So there's something about the number 3 and the way that you calculate it that tends to make it,
Well, wasn't it Tesla that said
Yes.
the secret of the universe is in the numbers 369?
Yes, that's what he did say. Yep.
That's cool, too.
So there's that, referencing again these magic numbers. And then on July 14th, 2018, in Somerset, yet another circle appeared that was believed to represent either a black hole or a portal.
Ooh, that one's really pretty.
It's pretty
I
intricate.
could use that as artwork on my wall.
It's a pretty intricate one, I think.
It kind of looks to me like a big sunflower
Yeah.
with the seeds in the middle, kind of like how it would look.
Like a pinwheel or something. Yeah, it's pretty cool. In Clay Hill, England in 2017, a beautiful crop circle appeared on wheat fields. And after the wheat fields were harvested, they planted canola plants in their place. But the spot where the crop circle had been did not grow any canola. Its shape reappeared because the canola plants would not grow there.
Oh, that's radiation, isn't it?
Yep, I
So
bet.
it damaged the ground. Oh, wow.
Yep, that's what it looks like. Isn't that pretty?
That is beautiful.
So yeah, so the crops
I'm
will not,
voting for that one
that-
as alien.
Definitely, it's really pretty. And it's another geometric shape.
Yeah, what is that? Like,
I don't know, but it is pretty cool.
it's like a triangle with an upside down
But
triangle. Oh,
it's-
it's like the star.
It's got dimensionality to it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, so cool.
Yeah, right?
You guys have to check out these pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
sure.
On July 6, 2014, another crop circle appeared that spelled out in Morse code the words "No More War."
That doesn't look very symmetrical to me.
It could be man-made. It's a different
It's
looking
weird.
one. It is. Maybe a different alien race made it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It looks lumpy,
It does look lumpy. I know, it's a little weird. All right.
like some green peanuts.
Right. And finally, Carol, on May 27th, 2020, a crop circle appeared in Wiltshire, England, of what looks like a weird blob. Now, this is the one that I think is the most interesting. The crop circle blob has 3 tiny spikes, 3 medium, and 3 large circles inside of the blob, and a long tube or tube-like shape that leads to another bobulous shape that contains 8 more spikes inside of it. It is widely believed that this is a crop circle reflecting the properties of the COVID-19 virus.
I was thinking that while you were describing that. I was
Right?
like, she is not going to say that they're creating the COVID.
The problem with this one, Carol, is that it contains information about the virus that we did not have at the time it was made.
What? What?
They did not have all the information when this was discovered. And then later through research, they're like, oh yeah, this is reflecting what we now know about COVID-19, which they discovered before they knew this information. The scientists did not know.
So they're giving them information. Is it good information or was it the information to make it like
let's talk about this.
become more viral or what?
Well, there's different theories about it, but I'll let you know. This one could definitely be aliens. But here's a picture of what that one looks like.
Okay.
So you can see here, these are different spikes on it.
Yeah.
They believe those are protein spikes. And then inside the circle, those also represent different parts of the virus. Then they have that long tube that leads to the bobulous shape at the end with the other 8 little spikes. So get a good look at that one because that does look kind of crazy, right? Not a typical crop circle.
No, that's super crazy.
Super different. So I found a video on YouTube by a guy named Jerry Croth. He is an associate professor at Santa Clara University, and he is also a psychologist. Jerry believes the crop circle is a blown up magnification of the COVID-19 virus at 12 million times its normal size. He points to 9 spike proteins shown in the circle and 3 dimers which relate to blood disorders like strokes, and 3 letters of RNA that are also very dangerous to people. He believes the circle with the 8 points within the bulbous shape at the end represents a spike protein that has been magnified and reveals SP8 or 8 amino acids which have an immunological property in SARS and has been identified in COVID-19 after this crop circle was discovered. So they didn't know that at the time this crop circle was made. Jerry believes this information can be used to create a vaccine. Now, this video came out last summer right after they found this circle. So we didn't have a vaccine at that time. I don't know if the vaccine that was developed includes this SB8 amino acid. I tried to Google this to find out, but there was so much science. It was so over my head. I'm like, I can't tell.
Right.
I just can't tell. So if you guys are listening and you know more, please let us know what you find out, because I can't tell from what I was Googling if this vaccine does include this 8 amino acid protein thing that this guy is suggesting.
Are you saying 8 amino acids or A?
8. Sorry, does it not sound like I'm saying 8?
Well, I just wanted to clarify. It's
Yes,
8
the number
amino acid.
SP8, the number 8.
SP8. Okay.
I don't know if that was included in this vaccine, but the fact is it was used for SARS, which is what
Very
Jerry
similar.
believes. Yeah, Jerry believes that's what they're showing in this circle. He questions, and rightfully so, if this crop is man-made. Because he said all of my disbelievers are going to be like, obviously this is man-made. He said, but how do they have access to science that wasn't established yet about the COVID-19 virus? How would they know that?
That's a good point. Unless they were involved in creating it.
That's the thing. How many disease specialists and scientists are out there making crop circles, Carol?
I know.
I can't imagine there's many of them out there doing that. They're trying to find a vaccine for COVID-19. They're not on a circle making contest.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make a lot of
Right.
sense.
No.
He said the state-of-the-art scientists didn't have this information at the time this crop circle was created. So who's out there making this crop circle?
That's so fascinating.
Doesn't that just give you the chills?
It? Yeah.
So,
It's crazy.
yeah. So Jerry breaks down his entire theory in much greater scientific detail that I cannot go into here because it's so over my head. I will fuck up trying to explain it because I don't understand it myself.
Because you know why? You're not a scientist.
I'm not a scientist, but the way he breaks it down and shows you in his YouTube video is very interesting. So we will obviously link to that in our show notes. He also wrote a white paper about this crop circle that you can read or get it on Amazon. He's charging $1.75, so it's basically free. And it's called the COVID-19 Crop Circle, Decoding Its Meaning and the Intelligence That Made It. So he's kind of leaning towards he thinks that aliens made this because
Oh, wow.
how could they have this information? So this crop circle was also featured in that documentary that I watched called Crop Circle Realities. They also reviewed this COVID-19 crop circle, and they came up with a slightly different conclusion that is actually much more simple. They think that the tube part of the crop circle resembles an Erlenmeyer flask, indicating that perhaps COVID-19 came from a lab.
Yeah, I was looking at that too, and it kind of looked like it was coming out of a beaker.
It looks like it's coming out of a beaker.
And
Yeah.
it reminded me of my days in chemistry class. And I was like, huh,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
It does look like something is googling up through this tube and exploding out onto the field. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So, and now, of course, the media is picking up on the fact that they do believe that this virus was created in the Wuhan lab.
Right.
As we originally
Thought
suspected.
anyway.
Right. But then, of course, the Chinese were like, no, it was made in a wet market by a bat. So now
Right.
that story is starting to change the media. So if this information was given to us in a crop circle in May of 2020, that's way before anything was becoming mainstream around that theory. Both could be correct. You know, Jerry could be correct that it's a magnification of a possible cure. This documentary could be correct that it actually came from a lab. Both could be true. Maybe neither are true, but it is fascinating, right? It's so interesting.
Yeah, I can see it both ways.
Yeah. So the last crop circle I'll share with you is on May 30th, 2020. Another crop circle appeared in Wiltshire. It's a yin-yang symbol, which means that it's a communication of we need to come back into balance and unite.
Right.
Those are my crop circle
Yin-yang.
stories. And like I said, I'm a lot more intrigued by them than I ever was before. I'm pretty sure I was just one of those people who assumed they're just made by people, no big deal.
Yeah, I did too. I kind of wrote them off because I had watched a documentary showing two guys with
Yeah.
a flat board
Yes.
going out there. I think what really changed my mind about the whole thing was realizing that in some of these cases, the radiation readings were just off the charts.
Yeah.
And then, like you were saying, the stalks were bent but not broken.
Right. And the scientists that have been open to studying crop circles have been like, there's no way a human has a technology to make them grow and then bend like this. Most of the man-made ones you can tell because the stalks are broken. And then they don't emit radiation.
Right.
So it's like, it's very interesting. And Ancient Aliens did an episode about crop circles that was pretty good. I learned a lot, and now I really want to go to England and explore them because I think it's a really fascinating thing. But that COVID-19 one at the end there, I was just like, what? That is mind blowing.
That is chilling.
It
to
really
think
is.
that they had a crop circle before we knew all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I
So-
love the orbs. I love the orbs.
orb
Making it
video
live in
is
front of you is just
pretty
wow.
cool. It's pretty
that
cool.
blows my mind.
Yeah, I'll obviously link to that video as
Yeah.
well. That is a very well documented video. People are like that. They took it to some animators at Disney and said, "Can you recreate this?" And they were like, "It's going to take us a couple days, and it probably won't be as perfect as this." Like they were like, "We can't find anything that would indicate to us that it's been messed with."
Wow.
That's why they think it's a legitimate video. But it's amazing if he captured actual UAP/UFOs making crop circles out in this wheat field. It's incredible.
Amazing. Yeah,
So-
we'll just have to
Yeah.
keep on and
Yeah.
keep watching and
Yeah.
see what's unfolding. It's quite an amazing time with all this disclosure going on.
There's a
and
lot of things popping.
Hopefully
And like
it's not a nothing burger, but
right.
It would
And
be
like
cool.
you said earlier, they're supposed to be disclosing the whole Pentagon thing about what they know about UFOs to the public. It's supposed to be happening right about now, but I would imagine they're either going to get an extension on their deadline, or if they do produce a report, I don't imagine that they're going to have much more to offer that they've already put out in the news already.
yeah, it seems like they've already
They've
just
already
had a
seen a
head
lot of
start in
information.
doing things.
Yeah.
So I don't know who leaked it, but a lot of it's come out.
Yeah, they've already put a lot of it out, and I've covered a lot of it in our paranormal news segments. So
Right.
beyond what they've already put out, I can't imagine there's a ton, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't
Yeah.
know. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Happy
Thanks,
crop
everyone.
circles. Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. This one is particularly cool. A 19-year-old man named John Whaley went to that changes the molecular structure. Nope.
As the flames die down, do remain undaunted.
Though all hitchhikers are ghosts,
And all dolls are definitely haunted.
hey guys, be sure to follow us on Instagram. Our handle is @FiresidePhantoms. If you have a spooky story you would like to share with us, send it to firesidephantoms@gmail.com and you may hear it on a future episode.